You have a GE profile, model number PSS26MSTDSS, and is it maybe starting to get warmer on the freezer and the refrigerator? Well, after watching this video, hopefully we'll be able to fix that for you. Hi, my name is Rip. We noticed a few days ago that we have a freezer temp and a refrigerator temp, which is why we bought on this refrigerator, because the last one we lost a lot of food because we weren't able to monitor it. Should be running about 0 and 37 is what the recommendeds are in here. And I noticed a few days back we were up to 20 degrees or so in the freezer and 44 degrees or so in the refrigerator, which warranted me to call to Ray's Appliance. Shout out to them in Rouse's Point, New York, the best appliance store with the best repair guys and knowledgeable staff in the world. And Ray was able to help me out as far as pointing me to how we might be able to fix this fairly quickly. And I wanted to share that with you today. So let's go around back and I'll show you what's going on. Okay, we'll wiggle our refrigerator enough so we can get our head under there and see if we can check out and see what things are going on there. First thing, always unplug. Alright, electricity. Don't want to mix that with our fingers while we're poking around. You can take the back off. The cardboard has got, they're 5/16" screws. They're the bigger head. You can see them right here. My camera woman, beautiful wife, gets in on that. She's doing a great job. Thank you, honey. So you're going to see these screws. They're the large washers on the back side. Some of them actually have plastic washers. Some of them don't. Okay, there's actually 6 on the back here that you'll take off. Full transparency. I did have this apart already. I wanted to make this video because I think it was great to be able to help some people that might just be able to dive into this, like and get this thing kind of up and running again if you're in a situation like we were. So there's one here, 2, 3. You can see this one, 4, a 5 in the corner, and 6 down here in the corner. Once you pull those 6 screws out, this cardboard will drop back. You'll notice that it does hang out on the bottom here, hangs outside here. It's kind of important to know when we're putting back on. You just kind of pull that up and away. And that'll expose the guts to us. So what Ray said we're after is that there's a fan, blower, and motor right here where my hand is. I'll bring in for a closer view in a second here. But what happens is when this fan motor stops blowing, and as it was plugged in, I did look and we did see that the fan motor was not spinning. I plugged it back in again actually to see. And with the motor not spinning, I actually put my hand in there to try to spin the blade. And the shaft that goes into the motor that has the fan blade on it actually wouldn't even spin. It was actually frozen in place. So we definitely knew that we were having a problem with the blower motor wasn't blowing. The other thing we did to double check what was going on with that is that we were able to pull up a fan. And I'll show you the type of fan we used here was this type of fan. It has the ability to direct the air out, right? And we put it up on high, but we could turn the fan on. Probably won't be able to hear me if that thing's running. I was able to angle the fan in here so it's mimicking the fan if that fan was on and blowing, where the air would blow across here through the fan. And of course, I think that's the condenser that's there. Evaporator, condenser. I'm not a refrigerator guy, so I'm not sure the exact terminology of these things, why I reach out to Ray all the time. But I was able to blow the air across there to mimic what the fan was doing. And in the meantime, overnight, we came back down to 0 in the freezer and 37 on the refrigerator. So yay, so we knew it was the motor on the fan that wasn't doing the job that was doing that for us. Also, on a side note, if you open the 2 doors up, the refrigerator and freezer, there's the divider that goes between those 2 doors that are in there. Placing my hand on there almost burned my hand. So the next day when everything was down to 0, 37 and touching that was no longer that hot anymore. So the fan did its job and cooled it down. In the meantime, we got a blower motor in from Ray's, and that's what I wanted to show you. Kind of the second half of the fix is pulling out the old motor and the fan and putting the new one in, which is fairly simple. If it's above your comfortableness of changing this, What?
Above your pay grade.
Pay grade. It's above your pay grade. That's what I usually like to say, but I didn't know if that's politically correct. Don't attempt this if you don't know what you're doing. Always hire a professional. I like to tinker around with stuff like that. If it's unplugged, usually we're pretty safe if things are unplugged. Things do store electricity, but I try to keep my fingers away from there. So upon that disclaimer, let's kind of move forward. I'll take you in for a closer look at where the fan motor and blower are located, and then we'll go from there. So here we are looking at the culprit. See if I can get my hand in here and guide you around a little bit this is that's the blades that we're talking about, right? The blower motor blades down here. As you notice, it won't even turn. It's stuck right on the shaft. They're not even spinning. There's a wiring harness that comes up here, and the plug where we're going to plug from. You can squeeze the clip. You squeeze the two ears on here. You can pull the wire out from here. On the bottom side of this plug, the white plug, you can see in here, the bottom side of this plug, you're going to squeeze inside the two pieces, the ears on the inside of this. Okay, that will pop out. Okay, that's going to release the wiring harness from that. And then you notice here, you've got a mounting screw here, and you've got one on the bottom side on the back of that. That's actually got the ground wire attached to that too. And these are 1/4 inch. So if you had a 1/4 inch, you could use a wrench. I use a ratchet and a socket to pull those out. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull this bracket out so we can pull the motor out. We're also going to have to slide the propeller off the shaft very carefully. What you want to do with that is you can either knock the metal clip off that's holding the ring around this white plastic sleeve. If you knock the clip off, that'll loosen up this so that you can actually push. And you want to push from the inside, kind of very gently, just like that. And we can knock that off the blower motor. So now we can unbolt the motor from inside here. So what I'm going to do is take these two screws out, the 1/4 inch bolts in the meantime, and then pull this motor out. I won't make you watch me struggle through pulling that apart from there, and I'll be back in a second. This is how this came apart. There's the bracket I was holding the motor into the sides. This is actually the new one. If you're looking for a part number for this particular one, what we are using here is a WR60X10171. And looking at our new one, it's the WR60X10220. I would assume there's probably an update model for this. We do have to use we will pull the rubber pieces off of the shaft on that old one. And then we'll also pull the rubber piece off the back of the old one. And then what we'll be doing is we'll be putting the bracket back on there. And then the reverse order of being able to put back in the fan blade. This was the clip I was telling you about that was on around the fan blade on the inside, but it makes it nice and tight on the shaft. What I was able to do on the inside is I kind of took a flat tip screwdriver and was able to slide this off of the plastic piece. Once that dropped on the shaft, it was a little bit easier for me to grab onto this propeller, the blade, and pull it off of the shaft here. So I'll put that back on. We'll have to get this mounted back to the bracket first, and then snake the blade back in through the hole and slide it back onto the shaft again. And then if you notice, this thing is just, I turn it and the thing just spins. This one, it's just frozen in place. So you know where we're going back to put that back in there. And I'll try to get my head in there and show you as best I can for putting this back together in place in there. Alright, so as you can see, I was able to get this bolt back in here. I was able to get the ground wire back wrapped around the bolt that's on the back side of the bracket in here. The blade, you notice that I put the clip back around the blade here. after the clip was back around the blade, I was able to stand on my head and pull this fan blade back in to where it was before. And if you're noticing now, this fan blade spins nice and easily, not frozen up anymore. And there's a wire harness up top here. This harness is only going to go, it's only going to plug in one way. I don't think I get my hand in my head and everything out of the way for able to kind of see where we're going for the, where that's going to clip into the harness right back up in here. But I'll clip that back in place, and we'll pop back this on to pop the cover back on the back after we plug it in there. Just make sure the fan blade's spinning. All right, so we got everything all plugged back in for the wiring harnesses and everything. The motor, the refrigerator is plugged back in. Not sure what the wait time is for things to reset after we get them plugged back in there, so crossing my fingers hoping that the fan motor is going to pop up anytime now and start spinning. I said it took about 5 minutes, and then the fan finally kicked on. And as you can tell, we're spinning again, and this should be the fix. I'll can step back to the buttoning back up. We'll put the back on and put a couple bolts back in place. And hopefully that should do it. So hope this helps. Looking forward to your comments and questions. See you next time.